Good day everyone. I am Benji A. Yorpo from BSEd Science 2A, and today I will be the one who tackle the title of this essay is to the young women of Malolos, and it was written by Dr. Jose P. Rizal. To the young women of Malolos. When the Spaniards came into the Philippines, they brought with them their patriarchal values about women which eventually diffused into the Philippine culture. So when we say patriarchal values, it is a system of society in which the father or the eldest male is the head of the family. The women during the Spanish period were tied to the house and rules were confined exclusively to housekeeping and child-rearing. So ang mga mindset ng noong panahon ng Spanish or Spaniards ay ang mga babae ay dapat nasa loob ng bahay, taga-alaga ng anak at tagasunod ng asawa. On the other hand, there was an idea that man should be the provider of the family and the protector of the women. Women also thought to be compliant to elders and always submissive to males. So dapat, ang mga kababaihan daw ay sumusunod sila sa mga kalalakihan. They were oriented to focus on building skills that would make them a good daughter, housewives, mothers, and servants of God. Women were banned from participating in politicals undertaken. It's because it was considered a man's work. So we noticed before during Spaniards, the women do not have any position in government. A majority or lahat ng mga posisyon sa gobyerno ay binibigay sa mga kalalakihan. Filipino were familiarized to patriarchal system of education which emphasized the domestic value that women were the property of men. The letter to the young women of Malolos was written in Tagalog while Rizal was in London. So isinulat ito ni Rizal kahit nung siya ay nasa London. On December 12, 1888, a group of 20 women of Malolos petitioned Governor General Wheeler for permission to open a night school so that they may study Spanish under Teodoro Sandico. Unfortunately, Father Felipe Garcia objected, resulting into the turning down of the petition by the Governor General. Okay, these 20 young women of Malolos, 20 sila, na halos lahat naman sila ay magkamag-anak, magtita, magpinsan at sila ay kabilang sa mga middle class o mga babaeng may kaya sa buhay. The request to the Spanish government na kung hindi mag-open or kung pwede mag-open ng night school where they could be taught Spanish language. That is something na pinagbawalan during that time. In imagination or unimaginable for women to ask like that because during the time, education is more inclined to the boys and women are seen nasa bahay lang and no need to go for the education or further education. So the young women in Malolos participated in peaceful movement of educational reform. So how can we describe that system of education during the time of Spaniards? So, education for females wasn't the same for male. Iba yung curriculum, iba yung subject na ino-offer sa mga kalalakihan at sa kababaihan. So, education from women was more a privilege or pribilehiyo lang siya kung sino lang yung may kaya or may access, kung sino lang yung may gusto. Pero sa mga kalalakihan and the boys, the education, it is a right or mandated na mag-aral sila. Sa mga kababaihan, just like what I said before, it's a privilege or optional lang siya. So majority of elementary and secondary schools as well as colleges were exclusively for males. If we notice before, these schools for male and female. So iba yung kung naalala natin before o kung nabantayan natin, magkaiba yung eskwelahan ng mga kababaihan at kalalakihan. So, bakit ganun na lang ang kainteresado nito mga kababaihan ng malolos na matuto ng Spanish language? Bakit kaya? Dahil ito ay isang language of politics and society. So, yun yung mga medium o ito yung medium of language na ginagamit dito sa Philippines. And the government communicated directly with the friars. So, yun yung both Spanish and natives. Imagine, yung mga Espanyol nagtatrabaho sila sa gobyerno at alam nila yung wika natin at the same time, alam din nila yung ang wika nila, alam din nila yung wika natin. So, kumbaga, mas lamang sila sa atin. Kumbaga, alam nilang yung wika nila at alam din nila yung wika natin. Unlike sa ating mga native na sariling wika lang natin o sariling lingwahe lang natin ang ating nalalaman. And to the friars, it would be better not to teach to natives and mestizos the Spanish language so that their mind will not be penetrated by the liberal idea since the most books was written in Spanish. So malaking threat talaga sa Spanish government pati sa mga friars na matuto ang mga natives ng mga Spanish language. Why? Because majority nga ng books noon ay isinulat sa mga Spanish language. For example, yung dalawang great novel ni Jose Rizal, yung No Limit Tangere at El Filibusterismo. They were both written in Spanish language. So according to friars, gain knowledge would make crave or more crave for freedom and demand human rights. So yun yung threat sa kanila. Kapag natuto ng wikang Kastila ang mga natives daw or Filipinos, kapag nakabasa sila ng liberal book, for sure, they would have tendency to ask freedom, reform, or pagbabago. But these young women courageously sustained their agitation for the establishment of the school. They triumphed in the end and they were granted permission to the project on the condition that Señorita Guadalupe Reyes should be their teacher. So yung unang petisyon na ginawa nila na nag-request na na-reject, and after that they will ask again they will ask a request na magtayo talaga ng night school at gusto nilang matuto ng Spanish language. In the end, nagtagumpay sila doon sa kanilang petisyon. Ngayon, ang ginawa ni Marcelo H. del Pilar is to praise these young women, their bravery and courageous. Dahil sa kanilang katapangan, nag-request si Marcelo H. del Pilar kay Dr. Rizal o Jose Rizal na nasa London pa to write a letter commending them or commending to the young women of Malolos for their extraordinary courage. Something talaga nakakaiba yung mga women of Malolos. Ang lakas ng loob nilang mag-request noon sa Spanish government kahit na alam nilang walang quality between men and women. So talagang tuwang-tuwa si Rizal na palaban na pala mga Filipino or mga Filipino women. Kaya hindi siya nagtubili na sumulat ng late letter para sa kababaihan sa Malolos, Bulacan. So these are the main points of Rizal essay, The Young Women of Malolos. The letter transmitted to the young women of Malolos focus on the following points. First is the rejection of the spiritual authority of the friars. Defensive of private judgment, qualities Filipino mother need to possess, duties and responsibility of Filipino mother to their children, duties and responsibilities of a wife to her husband, and counsel to young women on their choices of lifetime partner. So dito umiikot yung main points ng letter ni Rizal to the young women of Malolos. So Rizal expressed satisfaction for what the young women of Malolos fought for. Talagang tuwang-tuwa si Rizal noong time na to kasi somehow palaban din pala ang mga Filipina or Filipino women. So Rizal's ultimate desires was to afford Filipino women with the same opportunities enjoyed by men in education, an education that will liberate women. So ang point dito ni Rizal, there must be equality for rights regardless of what gender, especially equality in education, or dapat same ang opportunities between men and women. He emphasized the end of maintaining of the independence of mind and the reason. He urged to be vigilant over the rights and not to be docile and passive in their attitudes towards the many injustice forced upon them. So, sabi niya dito, ang mga kababaihan dapat daw maging aware kayo, maging attentive kayo sa mga kapwa or mga karapatan nyo. At the same time, wag kayong palasunod ng sunod sa mga sinasabi na sa iba or sa inyo. Now, let's talk about responsibilities of mothers to their children. So, to the young women of Malolos, it's not all about sa dalagita lang. They have also a part na nagbigay sa Rizal ng advice tsaka mga dapat gawin sa mga nanay, okay? So, it is the mother who are responsible for the present servitude of our compatriots, owing to the unlimited trustfulness of their loving heart, to their ardent desire to elevate their son. So, what then was Rizal trying to put across her? He was trying to tell the women whatever the mother is would be her son become. Mothers who can teach nothing else but kneeling and kissing the hand of their friars should we expect children who are not only stupid but also exploited slaves. Ang point dito ni Rizal, if the mother kuno are palasunod sa government of the Spanish, ganun din ang mga anak palasunod din sa government of the Spain. Kung ang nanay ay nagpapaalipin sa Spanish friars, ganun din ang mga anak. So malaki ang naimpluwensya ng mga nanay sa kanilang anak kung ano talaga ang puno, siya ang bunga. Excuse me. Moving on, what are the duties of the Filipino mothers to the children? First, to raise children close to the image of God. So dapat daw si nanay turuan si anak na maging malapit sa Diyos at magkaroon ng pananampalataya. The second, to awaken and prepare the mind of child for every good and desirable idea. So, dapat si nanay ay turuan ang anak ng mga kabutihang bagay o mga kabutihan. And to teach children to prepare death with honor than life with dishonor. So, dapat maturuan ni nanay ang anak na mas okay mag-sacrifice ng may karangalan. So, one of the good examples that is our soldiers. So, depending on our country, knowing that any time their lives may be taken away. Excuses. So Rizal's message to the Filipino women. Rizal stressed the needs of mothers to educate their children on the following values: love for honor, sincere and firm character, clear mind, clear conduct, noble action, love for one's fellow men, and respect to God. So ano ba ang mga qualities ng isang ina have to possess. Una, or ano naman yung mga qualities na taglay ni nanay according to Rizal. Una, the Filipino mother has to be a noble wife. So, dapat ang mga Filipino mother daw ay marangal bilang asawa. The second, she has to rear her children in the service of the state. Rizal gives reference to the women of Sparta who embody this quality. Excuses. Dapat yung pag-uugali meron kayo ay katulad ng mga Spartan women. Ang mga Spartan women, they had a reputation for being independent-minded, and they enjoyed more freedom and powers than the encountered part throughout ancient Greece. So kababaihan ang mga Spartan women, or kababaihan sila, and then they have equal rights with men. So what makes Spartan women more astonishing with these facts that they rock the rules, strong independent women. So in an area unlike other women who were dominated as the servant to men, the Spartan women ay mga palaban sila. Di sila basta-basta nagpapadaig. Sabi ni Rizal dito, dapat daw tularan yung mga qualities ng mga Spartan women. A wife has to set the standards of behavior of men around her. So 3 basic things a wife must instill in the mind of her husband: active and industry, noble behavior, and worthy sentiments. So ito yung mga pag-uugali na dapat itinuturo ni Mrs. kay Mr. Activity and industry, noble behavior, and worthy sentiments. So Rizal message to the Filipino women, ano nga ba ang mga qualities, or Rizal give the following advices, or Rizal advices qualities of mother have to possess. So Rizal give the following advices to married women. First, aid her husband. So dapat tulungan nila si Mr. You aid or help your husband in any aspects of your life. Second, share his perils. So damayan si Mr. sa problema. The husband and wife share the problems they have, or they must share the problems they have. Hindi pwedeng isa lang ang solusyon sa problema. Dapat silang dalawa. That's the advice of Rizal. Next, refrain from causing his worry and sweeten his moments of affliction. So ang ipangatlo is dapat daw wag pinagpapaalala si Mr. Sunod, kapag may dinadamdam daw si Mr. is matutong lumambing sa mga misis. So matutong lumambing, ha, alam na this. Next is Rizal's advice to unmarried men and women. Kung kanina nag-advise siya sa mga married man, ngayon naman sa mga hindi kasal na mga lalaki at mga kababaihan. Rizal was directly telling young men that in choosing their lifetime partner, they should not consider physical beauty nor the sweetness character of women, but rather give priority to firmness of character and excellent ideas. So, napaka-simple lang ng kanyang mga advice, di ba? Sa mga kababaihan in choosing, or sa mga kalalakihan in choosing their lifetime partner. Huwag tumingin sa panlabas na anyo. Huwag gawing standard yung pagiging malambing. At according to Rizal, ano dapat ba ang qualities na tinitignan? O ito, ano yung mga dapat qualities na tinitignan ng bawat kalalakihan sa isang partner? Okay, so partner must have a firm character, pagiging matatag, pagiging matapang sa buhay, resilience, persons, and lastly, a partner must have an excellent ideas, matalino, marunong sa buhay, practical sa buhay. That's the advice of Rizal to young man in choosing their lifetime partners, or sa mga kalalakihan. Okay, so moving on. Rizal's advice to unmarried men and women. On the other hand, Rizal counseled young women not to surrender their manhood or womanhood to a weak and timid heart. There are 3 things that young women must look for a man she is going to marry. First, a noble and honored man, a manly heart, and a high spirit incapable of being slave. So, ang point naman ni Rizal here is, kayong mga kababaihan, huwag kayong magpadala sa mga kalalakihan o kalalakihang duwag. Mga lalaking matatakutin, mga lalaking mahina ang loob. Ang mga threat o mga ugali na dapat ninyong i-consider or mga threats, ang mga ugali, that's the ugali na dapat niyo i-consider before kayong magpakasal ay you should find a noble and honored man, isang marangal na lalaki, may respeto sa sarili at sa ibang tao. Second, a man with a manly heart, lalaking may kabutihang loob na mamahalin kayo o ikaw for the rest of your life. You should act with dignity. You should act with self-respect. Hindi yung parang binabastos kayo ng mga Filipino or kayong mga Filipino. According to the article of Rizal to the young women of Malolos, Rizal cited of an example of a lot of prayers, a lot of Spanish towards from the Philippines when they go back to Spain. So kung ano-ano daw ang kanilang sinasabi sa mga kababaihang Filipina or Filipino, na ang mga Filipino women daw ay easy to get, susceptible, submissive, or sunod lang ng sunod. So, ganun ha, mga kababaihan, Filipino women, huwag maging marupok. A man incapable of being slave, lalaking hindi daw magpapaalipin kahit kanino man. Taong may sariling paninindigan at hindi basta-basta nagpapaalipin. These are the 3 things that a young woman must look a man that she's ready or that she's married, gusto niyang pakasalan. Next, to summarize the young women of Malolos, first, Filipino mothers should teach their children love of God, country, and fellow men. The second one is Filipino mother should be glad and honored like Spartan mothers to offer their son in defense of their country. The third one is Filipino women should know how to protect their dignity and honor. The fourth one is Filipino women should educate themselves aside from retaining their good racial values. And last one, faith is not merely reciting prayers and wearing religious pictures. It is living the racial or real Christian way with good moral and manners. So it can be said that women in Malolos were the first advocate of feminist movement in the country for the championing the cause for women's right to education and equal rights regardless of gender. So Rizal believes that women should be empowered. Rizal advocating, hey lady, get up or get yourself educated or educational. Get yourself be educated. Because in Europe, women are in the higher status because in Europe, they were educated. So you are doing the right thing. Keep that bravery and courage burning. So napakaganda ng message o letter na ginawa ni Rizal para sa mga kababayan in our country, specifically in Malolos. So okay, that's the end of our discussion for today. Hoping that you learned a literary literature of Jose Rizal. And that's it, guys. Bye. Thank you. God bless.